Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Paint with Sean. So today we're continuing on the dark sky sunset picture that we had going on last time, and we're getting some really good things going on. I really like what we're working with. We've got our dark going on, we've got our sort of bright lit up sort of sky going on with some variations in between, and I'm really enjoying what we're doing here. So we're going to continue on adding in some distinction areas of lights and darks and that sort of thing to just really create some contrast going on. I really enjoy working with these colors and being able to blend them, and hard lines and soft lines and lights and darks and all that kind of thing. Clouds are so forgiving, it makes it possible for everything to work. Okay, so we're going to pick up today. We're working with a little bit of a dark blue color over here, and just indicating some clouds going on and some things happening here, and just adding in a little bit more of this dark color over the top of the light. And again, if you want to take a dry brush and just sort of pat this a little bit, it can kind of soften some of your edges, blend it a little bit if you want. Okay, so it depends on what you want that look to look like. Okay, and clouds are not always solid, all right? So sometimes there is color that will show through them. So don't be afraid of that. That's okay if once in a while you've got a little bit of that undercolor that shows through. Sometimes clouds are so thin that it doesn't actually hold everything on. Okay, so I'm going to put a little more of this darker color going on and just get a little bit of some things happening here. Again, remember, clouds are not even. They're not going to be one direction or one shape. Okay. So I'm just kind of playing with some color and getting this on the board. Soften this up a little bit as we go. Kind of lighten things up. Clouds are very fluffy and free form and that sort of thing, so a lot of times all you need to do is just get the indication of a cloud, and you can kind of play with it from there. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so a little bit of light and darks going on. I'm going to come back here one more time and just put a solid tip on the edge. So this is where we'll really start to see this distinction happen, is when you've got these real differences in dark to light. Okay, and so maybe there's a little bit in there, a real dark spot on the top, and that's okay. We're gonna just kind of play with this a little bit. So appreciate you guys coming back and hanging out with me for another episode. We're working on this little sunset scene, and we're gonna continue to work our way down and add some lights and some darks and all these things that we got going on here. So I'm gonna come over here on the other side and add a little bit more of this dark color going on, and I just want to leave a little bit over the top. Okay, so a little bit of that light to come through behind the cloud, and that will allow it to really have some depth to it. Okay. And the less paint you got on your brush, the faster you'll have to work with it to blend it. Okay. So once I get this on here, I'm just going to tap it out a little bit with the edge of this brush. So I didn't have a lot of paint on there, so that went real fast. And that's okay. We can put more paint on there. Okay, so I'm getting a little more of my dark color going on. We got this black and this brown, or black and blue. Okay, so we're really trying to create some depths of some things happening here. And every time we make ourselves another layer, it sort of helps with the depth look of things. What do they look like, and how are things showing through? And we're going to continue to blend on down with some of that color. So if you mess it up or it doesn't look like you want it to, that's okay. We're gonna get an opportunity to adjust it all the time. So I've got that dark color going on. I just want to highlight some of that top of it so we can really create that distinction of where that cloud is. Yeah, there we go. Okay, guys. So these light areas are so important against the dark. That's what really gives you that differentiation of some things actually happening. Okay, so I'm just going to continue patting in a little bit. We can have this cloud sort of catch up over here. I just don't want this to be a solid color. Okay, I want this to have some variation and some translucency to it. There's always sort of a see-through effect on these things. So hopefully you guys are enjoying yourself today. Having a good time myself, and going to continue to make these little paintings for as long as I'm enjoying it, because that's really, again, the point for me, is to be able to take some time away from real life. You know, I work full-time and have kids, and got a lot going on all the time. So being able to step out and just kind of relax for a little bit and not worry about what everybody else is doing, and have some me time. It's an important thing, guys. So that's what I'm doing here. Really just enjoying myself, and like I said, playing with some things in between and seeing what works and what doesn't, and how I can create different techniques and looks and all the different things. It's creative. It's not streamlined, and it's not perfection, and it's none of the stuff that a lot of times people are striving for within painting. It really just doesn't work that way. So I think this is a little too light over here, so I'm just going to dab on some color and darken it up. I think that'll give a little less indication of sunset all the way through. Alright, so we've got some good lights and some darks going on. I'm going to put a little more indicators of some light going on in here and show us some layers of clouds. And guys, just a little bit goes a long way with these. When it's a stark contrast of pure white, I'm just working with a little bit of white here and adding some of this. Boy, it goes far. You can really see that difference right there. Okay, so I'm just throwing in a little bit of whites here and there, and give us some indicators of some depth of the clouds going on. Okay. Oh, I like it. It's looking good. Got things happening. Oh, that's a light color. There we go. Didn't like that one. Okay. Come over here and add a little pop on this one. Just give it something going on. And again, guys, just remember your form. What does a cloud tend to look like? And if you don't know, maybe you need to spend a little time looking at clouds, because they're all over. And that's what I really also enjoy about painting, is it does get you to want to pay attention. It gets you to want to go out there and really look at what does a cloud look like. Okay, it's very, very easy to not stop and smell the roses kind of thing. You know, there's always going to be some sort of thing you got to do in the day, and you can get busy and just pass life by. So if you've got these reasons to stop and pay attention, a lot of times it'll slow you down and help you appreciate really what's in front of you all the time. So if you've never stopped and looked at the colors and the form of a cloud, you might want to do that next time you're outside. Give you a little edge up on the painting game as well. Painting is really about color and form and that kind of stuff. So really enjoying that piece going on. We've got some good lights and darks going on over here. And so I've got some color on my brush. I think I want a thinner brush for this. So I'm going to go to my little, I don't know if I want the liner brush. I think that's a little too small. So dip into my brush pool back here, and this one hasn't been used in a while. It's got some hot pink orange colors going on. So I'm going to wash this one out just a little bit and use some of this bluish color we got going on. Now again, I've got a little bit of water in this, but I don't have a lot of paint going on, so I'm going to mix up a little bit more and kind of get some colors going on, a tad bit of white to lighten that up. There we go. A little more blue, get a bluish color there. Okay. And we're just going to get some indications of some different colorations going on here. So I'm just going to put in some sideways lines here and just kind of show some indications of breaks in the sky. Okay. I really like giving indicators. That's the thing. Okay. Up into here, I just want to kind of darken this out a little bit. Seems a little bit too solid of a change between those. So, okay, so I'm just going to loosen these up now that I got a lot of the paint off here, and sort of soften these lines a little bit so they're not so direct. Excuse me. Alright. We got some things working over there. Grab some more of that same color here. Grab some over here. Same light. Can even connect this one if we want to. It can look like it's got things hanging off of it and doing things. I'm just going to kind of thin this out a little bit. It's a nice light color, so I'm just going to touch the water, okay? I'm just going to touch the water to thin this up. That will immediately pull paint back onto my brush from what was there before. So I don't want too much paint. I just want a little bit so I can loosen this up. So this isn't such a hard line. Okay. Very rarely do clouds have distinct hard lines. They're very, again, free flow and sort of fluffy out there. There's not really a lot of direct form to them. Sort of round sometimes, sometimes not. Okay, so I'm just kind of breaking up some of these hard lines with the whites and the yellows. And all right, so we got a lot of depth going on. I really think we got something good happening here. And so we want to make right here in the middle our light point. Okay, so we've sort of had everything getting whiter as it comes out. So I'm going to put some yellow going on right there in the middle. And I like this brush, so I'm going to wash it up. Let us come back into our really light yellow and white color. So we've got a good base on there, so it's not too dark anymore to have to go over, but I want it to be very, very bright right in the middle. Okay, so we've got most of that color off of there. And again, this one's okay if it's a little bit thinner because we're going over paint that was already there. So we're going to get our yellow going on, add some white into it. So we want this to be a very light color. All right. And so I just want this to be sort of right in the middle here. We're just going to kind of blend this up and make everything a little bit lighter right there. Okay. And we'll just sort of blend it out and come back with a little more of a white color and just keep making this really light in the middle here. And that will indicate that that's where the sun is at, and that's where the light source is. So again, I just want to kind of blend this out so it gets darker out towards the edges as it goes. And this real centerpiece here. Okay. This is what we're looking for. This nice bright yellow center. Blend this out to be whatever we want it to be. And it's still not quite as bright as I want it, so we're just going to throw some white right in the middle. Okay, so we've got a nice bright spot going on there. Okay, so now we've got the sky working pretty well. I like it. I do like it, but I think I want a little more light going on the top. Okay, a little bit of lighter color because it's almost pure black up there, and that's not what I want it to look like. We'll lighten up some of this even. That's okay. Just those indications of clouds. We just got things going on. Okay, so let's put a little bit more of this lighter color, and I'm gonna kind of blend it a little bit, just to again give some difference makers and some things going on. So appreciate you guys hanging out with me. We're well into our painting here. We're about halfway through and getting some of this coloration happening. So we're going to start putting a little more in the top here and just kind of lighten it up. So I've got this color going on. I'm going to get a little bit of water. And again, it's just going to be a lighter color than the pure black, a little bit of blue going on. I just want to sort of blend this in a little more. So that's darker than I want. So we're going to get a little more blue. This blue is a fairly light blue, so it lightens up very quickly. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. A little more of that blue in there. That's good. That's what I'm looking for. And again, if I go over the little bit of clouds that I got, that's okay. They're just indicators. So this is, I'm going to grab a little more white and a little more blue. But I can't get too light, or else it really stands out too much. So we're going to, there we go. And just blend this in. That's what I wanted. Nice light point in the sky there. And get another dry brush here and just sort of blend this out a little bit. Okay. There we go. Gives us a little bit of bright spot in the sky. I like that. Okay, so we've got our brush here. I didn't really need to wash it, I guess. We're going back into another dark color. So we're going to put some mountains in here. And this is where we're going to really create the horizon line. So everything above this, actually I probably should do the water first. So let's bring our water down below the point where we're going to bring the black up over the top of it. So this is where we want to reflect some of those colors that are in the sky. So we want to bring the orange down in. We want to have the yellow down in the water. We want to have some of this sort of bluish color on the corners going on, and make it look like some water. So our reflections are usually pretty simple, to be honest. It's just a reverse of the colors that we had. Now we don't want them to be quite as bright as we have them up here, so they may be a little bit more subdued and darker as we come down. So we've got this yellowish white color going on here. So I'm going to come in with the yellow and just a tad bit of red. So this is going to be very yellow orange, essentially. Okay, and I need a bunch of this color, so I'm going to mix this all up together. And so I'm going to put this on down here. And again, you can see there's a little bit of red in there. That's okay. I need way more paint. Okay, so I'm going to mix this up over here. Tad bit of red. Make it into this orange color. I got too much red, so I'm just going to bring in some more yellow, and I really want this to stay fairly yellow though, so I'm going to just grab a little bit more and put it right in my mix, because I want this to be very yellow, but I need lots of color. Okay, so we're going to mix this up. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So very yellow, but a little bit darker, guys. And again, if you don't have a perfect creation of the horizon line, that's okay, because we're going to paint some mountains over the top of this. That'll be our difference maker. Okay. So again, I want this semi-orangey yellow color going on over to where the light point is right here, and then we're gonna sort of make it a darker yellow, or a darker orange, excuse me. Okay. Let's get a little more yellow going on in that. I really like what we're working with here. There we go. Okay. All right. So we're going to make this that very, very light colored yellow right here in the middle. So we may need to do this a few times and even add a tad bit of white to it just to lighten it up. So we really want this lightness to reflect in. So we're going to get this in, and then I'm going to just kind of pull it down a little bit. Okay, so we're just going to sort of pull this down on either side of where I want this to be really bright. Okay. And I think I might have to wait until this is dry, because I'm just smearing it. It's not going to create a hard line like I'm looking for. So we've got this a little bit lighter right here in the middle. So we'll just sort of blend this out a little bit and distribute the paint that we got on our brush already. And that's okay again if it's not even. You just want your brush strokes to go side to side so that it has the indication of water. Water always, in visualization, looks sort of horizontal. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry just a little bit and bring it back and add a little bit more of a really distinct light color right here in the middle so we can show that there's a sunset going on. So we'll cut it off here today, guys. I appreciate your time, and I will catch you in the next video as we continue with this great painting.